We're gonna be talking about the areas in the triangle that have appreciated the most over the last year, so stick around.
All right, so we're gonna start with the fourth one and then work our way down to the fastest growing one. So coming in at number 4 is 27523, which is an Apex zip code, and that grew 8% year over year, which is quite substantial.
It's really crazy. So that little segment of Apex, when you're kind of driving through, it's gonna feel a little more separated from a lot of like the commercial space that's there, and a lot of it has the average year built in the last year that has sold there has been 2021. So it's a ton of why the prices are increasing so much there and appreciating so much is because it's all luxury custom homes. So you have a lot of like $1 million homes in the area. You know, there's other things too that are still out there, but I think that's gonna be our main contributing factor for why has this particular zip code grown the most in even more than other spots in Apex. So when you're kind of driving out there, it's a lot of luxury new build and a lot of new construction, as you can tell by the price by the year build there. And your average price out there in 2024 so far has been about $815,000.
Yeah, and it's honestly, it's not surprising that Apex would be on the list as one of the fastest growing zip codes in our area. Apex is a highly desirable part of the triangle, and it's on that southwest corner. So when you think of places like Cary, Apex, Holly Springs, those are some of the fastest growing areas, and Apex is obviously going to benefit from that.
Yeah, and definitely the most appreciating areas. All right, so next on our list is the zip code 27609. This is in Raleigh, right around the North Hills area, and it grew and appreciated about 9% in the last year, which is not surprising, but also kind of surprising because when we were thinking about this list, you would almost think it would be all areas kind of on the outskirts that are starting to develop, but this is a very prominent area in the triangle, you know, North Hills. So.
It is, yeah. So the median price point in this area is $515. The average price point is $700. The reason we give both of those is because it just gives you a little bit of a picture of what that area is like. The reason the average is so much higher than the median is because of the wide discrepancy on that side of town. So you're either gonna have like a $400,000 condo or a $3 million custom built home in North Raleigh. Like it's such a wide disparity when it comes to the type of home and the price point of those homes in that area.
Right, yeah, like even though the average is $700,000, you're probably not gonna find a house for $700,000. That's like not the average house in the area, even though that's like what the data looks like. The reality is there's a lot of older condos and stuff in the area that might be like between $250 to $450, you know, in that range, or older homes that people have like torn down and they put 2 massive homes on the lot and they're custom builds and they're like roughly $2 to $3 million. So reality is you either have something fairly below the average price in Raleigh or way above your average price in Raleigh, but most likely you're probably not going to find a $500,000 house.
Exactly, and that's a pretty unique part of town as well, where, you know, there's some pretty nice homes that honestly get torn down to build just some of these mega mansion custom homes. And so it's a really unique part of town where you can drive through and you'll be in a neighborhood where there's brick ranches that were built in the 70s, and the next door neighbor is a house that was built in 2022, and it's, you know, 4,500, 5,000 square feet.
And because of the size difference between just like over time, how things have changed so much, like the roof line on the old house and the roof line on the new house, like it looks like a skyscraper next to like a little Barbie dream house or something. Like it's kind of funny, but that's kind of the reality. So if you were looking at maybe some of those brick branches that were there, you know, those would obviously not be 3 million, but you would definitely be like fighting with those developers to be able to buy something like that.
Yeah, but that zip code coming in at a 9% appreciation rate at number 3. If you're sitting on your couch right now and you have not subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button in the corner. We put out videos like this on a weekly basis, and we would love for you to tune in. All right, number 2 on the list is 27518, which is Southern Cary. It grew 10%, which is also not very surprising when I think of areas that are appreciating the most and are just the most competitive in general.
Yeah, for sure. So this section in Cary, average prices are around $730,000 on average. A big chunk of the sales that have happened in the last year in that zip code were in the Lockmere subdivision, one of our favorite subdivisions, and it's not surprising to see it's probably Lockmere itself that has caused that amount.
Super competitive.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's super competitive to get into Lockmere. Everybody loves it. It just has a nice flair to it. It's not cookie cutter at all. There's a lot of trees. It's peaceful and quiet. There's like a pond at the front and a pool and a lot of neighborhood walking trails. So it's just a really ideal place to live. And so it's not surprising to see the place where Lockmere is located also coincidentally happens to be a place where there's been a lot of appreciation in the last year.
Exactly. So far in the list, when we think of what is appreciating the most, Apex, Cary, North Raleigh, pockets of North Raleigh. I mean, those are really some of the most competitive markets in the Triangle. And so it's really no surprise that those are seeing the highest appreciation year over year.
But to that point, you will be surprised what happens when we get to number 1. So be sure to keep watching. So our top ranking zip code, this one is 27542. It is in Johnston County and it's the home of Kinley, North Carolina, which you have probably never heard of. And most people that live in the Triangle have also never heard of it because it's about 40 miles east of Raleigh. It's still fit into this data survey that was collected. So we're putting it into here just because it was the top growing in this survey. It's not really, it's kind of in the Triangle, but it's far enough out that it could be considered probably not really the Triangle anymore. But because of how much it's grown and everything, we still wanted to throw it in there and have it correct.
Yeah. So it's grown 11% year over year as far as appreciation goes. And just to put the distance of where Kinley is in comparison to Raleigh, we're really in the heart of Raleigh right now. We're at Dorothea Dix Park, which is, as you can tell by the skyline behind us, really close to downtown. It's a 52-minute drive from this location. And so I'll be honest, we don't do business in Kinley just based on where it is. But if you ever heard of Clayton, we talk about Clayton a lot. Clayton is also in Johnston County. And Johnston County in general is really important to talk about. One, because price points are lower in Johnston County, but two, Johnston County is experiencing a lot of growth.
A lot of growth.
Which is seen in the appreciation of a town like Kinley.
Right.
So Kinley, the average price point in Kinley is $250,000, which is obviously significantly less than what we've talked about when it comes to the other price points of the Apex, North Raleigh, and the Carys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So Kinley feels like you're going back in time pre-pandemic to what prices used to be for houses around the Triangle. But in general, you know, we bring it up because we do work in Clayton a lot, which is going to be on the closer side of Johnston County to Wake where they touch. And Clayton has just like grown exponentially in the last decade and even more so in like the last 5 years. And they've done a really good job of trying to like keep up with road work and stuff like that in the Clayton area. And I think without all the growth that's happened in Clayton, even though the Clayton zip code is not one that made our list today, Kinley would have never grown without Clayton. Like we just got to be honest about it. Like areas in Johnston County without the growth of Clayton, I don't think we would have seen a place like Kinley on the list. But now that Clayton's kind of on the map, these other towns further east and south of Clayton are coming around, making a comeback.
I think people would disagree with you about Clayton infrastructure, especially Highway 42 while it was being developed.
No,
but it's better now.
There's a lot of road construction. They have expanded the roads there. Holly Springs roads have not been expanded, and it's grown a lot. Wake Forest roads are not really being expanded. It's grown a lot. So I think in general, you know, a lot of the road construction in Clayton has tried. It's never going to be perfect, but I feel like it has tried to keep up with the massive population growth that's in Clayton. So it's really interesting. But yes, we want to throw it on the list. It is the fastest growing in this general area. So it's really interesting.
It is. So we are Zach and Cindy Honeycutt, a couple real estate agents in the area. If you did like this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We do produce videos like this on a weekly basis. Our contact info is below as well. So if you have any questions about the area or you're looking to buy or sell, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can contact us at the contact info below. You can also find us on Instagram.
Yep, we'd love to have you follow along with us on Instagram. You can find our personal page at the Honeycutt Realtors, or you can find our account kind of going over news and development in the area called the RDU Buzz. We'd love to have you follow along with both of those pages, and we will talk to you soon.